So the first discussion of principle of moment is discuss about the graph of f1 over f2 versus d2 over d1. The graph obtained is a decreasing graph. So when the ratio of forces is smaller, then the ratio of the distance will increase. Thus, the force becomes larger as the distance decreases. The next is discussion about our opinion about the summation of the moment from our experiment result. So from our opinion, the value of moment will increase as the force becomes larger and as the distance from the force line of action increases. If the line of action of F2 is perpendicular to the distance that theta we let d was d as the shortest distance between these two lines, the value of moment will increase as the force becomes larger and as the distance from the force's line of action increases. If the line of action of F2 is perpendicular to the distance that theta, d as shortest distance between these two lines.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Daniel bin Ahmad Fuad and my matrix number is AA210665. Now I'll be presenting slide 5 and 6. If the moment is non-zero, what are the factors that may influence the experiment? The factors that may influence the experiment when the moment is non-zero obtained after the experiment is through force of load that we set up but not balanced. Secondly, the pivot bar that we use to set up is not balanced before we added the load. Next, the distance between the load and the center of the pivot may not be accurate because when we measure the distance, maybe there was an error. Then, the angle of the perpendicular distance is not equal to 90 degrees. Used can influence the moment obtained. What the principle of moment and how moments are achieved? Principle of moment is a force that acts on an object that is balanced. Then, the sum of counterclockwise moment from the pivot is equal to the sum of anticlockwise moment from the same pivot. Moment can be achieved when the distance from the line of action of the force from the pivot is obtained and perpendicular to the force. The moment depends on the force acting on the object. The direction of the force and the distance from the pivot can determine the moment, either it is clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Irfan Syafuddin bin Muhammad Arslan, AA212097. Today, I will continue the question part. The question sounds, what does the principle of turning moments of force acting on a body? So the answer is, it will produce a tendency for the body to rotate from a point that is not on the line of the force. It is simply called the moment. The larger the force or longer the moment of the arm, the greater the moment or the turning effect. Next question, how to determine the moment in the 3 dimension? The moments in the 3 dimension can be determined using the formula of the clockwise moment is equal to the anti-clockwise moment. You need to consider the force of 3 dimension bodies, and you also need to consider the distance if the distance of the arm. So that's all from me. Thank you.